Hello and welcome to the Miscast table. My name is Måns and with me tonight I have Jonas, Martin and André. How are you feeling, boys?
Good.
Great. I think that we have a very interesting topic today. I think it's gonna be a heated time here in our studio because we're gonna do some discussions and figure out which unit we think is the most broken in Warhammer Fantasy 8th edition. And
Pre-end times.
Pre-end times.
Yeah.
And what do we mean by broken? Well, basically it's a unit that does more than its point cost.
Yeah.
And a unit that is really broken can also maybe even be bad for the game. Like it's too good that kind of ruins the game almost. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna rank these units into 3 tiers and figure out which one is the most broken. We're gonna have some honorable mentions and some units that we're only gonna say that we consider to be broken, but they're not gonna be in the top tier. So I think it's gonna be an interesting discussion here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And we sat in our chambers individually and came up with 5 units or combos that are broken. So I would like to start from my left. André, which 5 units have you picked out from the game?
My 5 units that I think is worth much more than their points value are the Field Trebuchet, Saber Tusks, Hero Titan, Frostheart Phoenix, and Kedai Destroyer.
And of those 5, which one is the absolute worst? Which one is the nightmare?
The nightmare, I would say, is probably the Frost. No, maybe Saber. I'm gonna say Saber Tusk.
You're gonna say Saber Tusk?
Yes.
Okay,
that is a weird choice.
we're starting off with a strong note.
I also am. I also often play as Bretonia.
You're really gonna argue that the Saber Tusk is more broken than the Frostheart Phoenix?
I think
Yes.
there is a point. I think there is
Okay.
a point here and I have to ask you why.
Why? Well, I wouldn't say that it's not Saber Tusk's fault. It's the rules of 8th edition. So when you charge something, you have to wheel against the one that you charge against. So you have a little Saber Tusk that is 21 points, and even if you have a big unit that's 1000 points, this little unit can control it. And on the Warhammer board, control and movement is everything.
That's king.
So having this little fart of a unit that can mess up the board totally. And as I stated earlier, being a Bretonia player, I want to win the charge.
Yeah.
I want to win the charge. Having a unit that you put in front and you A, make me tilt, or B, just give the charge to the opponent. That's super powerful. And having 25 points controlling, removing a charge is super powerful.
Yeah, they're incredibly point effective, and they're good redirectors, but they're also great war machine hunters. They're not that weak in of themselves.
No.
But there are other units like that, like the Harpies and stuff like that with better movement. Aren't they contenders for this?
Yes, of course. But I think that they are one of the cheapest.
Yeah.
And even if, like you said before, even if I don't want to have it as a redirector, I can send it after a war machine. So by themselves, I think they are the best redirector in the game, and I think that's super powerful.
Yeah, I can't think of anything more point effective.
Yeah, to add to it as well, like the point about it being a redirector, it's really hard to remove it because you place it in the opponent's turn. He gets to decide where does it go, and then you only have the movement phase to try to play around it.
Yeah.
You can't kill it until you get into at least the magic phase. So it's gonna be there, it's gonna disrupt, and you can't.
I found it, and also like having a spell. So if I'm gonna make a spell on him, he's still only 25 points. So I waste
21
points. Yeah. I waste a spell on 25 points. So Yeah, I think it's super powerful.
Yeah, it's super powerful. And like moving 7, is it? Or is
Yeah.
it 6, 7?
Yeah, and it's a single
I think
model.
it's might even be.
Might even be
8?
more.
Yeah,
no, it's
so,
probably 7.
I
so.
mean, if you have another redirector from another army, they might cost 50 points.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can take
almost
you can
always
almost
30,
always
40,
you can
50
take
points.
3 of them, and it's still only 63 points.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and the other and the thing with the 50-point variants in other armies is that there's 5 of them, so you only need to shoot out 2 and they flee.
yeah, and this one exactly.
Yeah, and you
So-
have the single model.
yes,
like,
he's
uh,
super movable.
I get the point, but I don't think everyone agrees.
no,
I
no.
want to hear what Jonas has to say. What are your 5 picks?
We agreed beforehand that we were allowed to like add in items or combinations. So on my top, it's not like the most broken in my list, but the first one that came to mind, an engineer with an organ gun and the rune of accuracy. That combination dishes out so much damage. It's insane. You get the reroll on the misfires. On average, you're gonna put out 23 shots per turn, and probably deal like 12 to 13 wounds depending on what you're shooting at. It can easily deal 100 to 200 points of damage per turn.
Wait, how do you deal out 23 attacks?
You roll 3 dice.
2 dice.
It's only 2 dice on
Yeah,
that.
dwarf at 2 dice.
Okay.
But it's still very powerful.
It's still
Still very
powerful.
It's very, very
Okay.
powerful.
It's still really strong, but it's the Empire rolled 3 dice.
Okay. I'm just so traumatized by it. Still, it's immensely powerful because you seldom get a misfire on that war machine due to the reroll, and it also being range 30, I think is really strong.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's not your top contender.
Not my top contender.
Where's the
the other units I have is the Doom Diver. I think it punches well beyond its weight, only costing 80 points. I think that the Doomfire Warlocks is really, really strong.
Yeah.
I kind of think that the Frostheart Phoenix is also an immensely powerful unit, and that the Chimera with the regeneration upgrade is probably one of the best monsters in the game. But I actually think that the Doomfire Warlocks is the very worst. They are so cost effective. You get a ton of utility from them. If you take them in groups of 10, they kill stuff so easily. 2 attacks, poison attacks. They get the 2 really good solid spells. They count as a level 2 wizard. You can barely get a level 2 wizard for the point cost of 5 Doomfire Warlocks.
What is the point cost of a unit of 5 Doomfire Warlocks?
125 points. It's nothing.
And what is the market worth? What would they have to cost for them to not be
like fairly
stupid?
costed? Probably like at least 180. Like
Yeah, I think maybe more. Like, if you take a normal level 2 wizard from any other faction, it costs like at least 100.
Yeah.
And then it has 2 wounds, it has no ward save,
Yeah, that's right.
and they have 10 attacks with poison, strength 4, they're fast cav, 2 good spells. It's like...
and the horses can attack as well.
Yeah.
And then to top it off, like the cherry on top, you get a 4+ ward save.
A 4+.
A 4+ ward save.
4+.
And they also have a rule, just because of Doomfire Warlocks. They don't count misfires as regular misfires and don't need to roll.
miscasts.
Yeah, miscasts.
Yeah.
On the miscast table. They just take a wound. And,
Just-
and they can save against it.
They
Just
take
the
D3
argument,
And
Okay,
they can
okay,
save,
D3.
yeah.
just the argument of what another wizard cost.
Yeah,
They
Yeah.
should cost twice.
Yeah, I think so.
very
But-
strong unit in my book.
How do you counter a unit of Doomfire Warlocks?
There are definitely like counters to them. If you can like get a agile ranged unit to fire at them, they are gonna lose quite a lot of models. It's really hard to get a charge on them because they are fast cav. They're just gonna position themselves, so you seldom or rarely get the charge. But a agile ranged unit with a musician can just reform, look in their direction, and blast them away. So, and then
So that's one
organ
way.
gun just annihilates them.
But I mean, with a 4+ ward save, you still have to allocate twice the amount of shots, and you
So-
don't get a whole lot of shots for 120 points.
No.
So I would say you have to use more points to get rid of them.
Definitely. Super strong unit. And I don't think that people find them unfair, which is probably
Weird.
an upside for them. Yeah, but
I can probably see Mons grinning now because he's played the Frostheart Phoenix. You have it in your army,
Yeah.
and you have Doomfire Warlocks,
Yeah.
and you are so happy.
But I don't know how many times I played with the Doomfire Warlocks when people think they're just fast cav, I can charge them, and then they lose combat.
Yeah.
Like they just destroy them. It's happened so many times.
yeah.
I think that's something that everyone tries once.
Yeah.
Charging and Doomfire
Yeah.
Warlocks and watching yourself die.
Yeah.
Would you take a Saber Tusk over Doomfire Warlocks if you had both choices in an army?
Probably.
Yeah, you would take 6 Saber Tusks or something.
Yeah, I probably take the Saber Tusk. I still think it's super powerful to making a charge go away and redirecting a unit. And especially at that point value.
Yeah. But Mons, how's your list looking? Do you have a Frostheart Phoenix?
Now we have the actual top 5. No, I also have I have the Steam Tank, which is
Yeah,
a
the
unit
Steam
that
Tank,
I've
yeah.
played quite
the
a lot.
same grin as in
Yeah, I played double Steam Tanks in one tournament, and everyone thought that was like top cheese. So that I guess says something about the Steam Tanks. Aside from that, I also have a Chaos Lord that is pretty well kitted. I have to take out my rule book
cheat
here.
sheet.
So my Chaos Lord, he is riding on a flying disc, and he has the item Soul Feeder, which makes it so every time he makes a wound on a 6, like for Killing Blow, he regains a wound. He also has Mark of Siege, which gives him 1 ward save, and it also improves a ward save by 1 if you already have one. And you have the Talisman of Preservation. So together with that,
3+.
he has a 3+ ward save, and he gains back wounds on 6s. Aside from that, I have the Charmed Shield.
And you also get to re-roll the ones when you take the ward shield. So it's effectively only wounded when you roll a 2, right?
Yeah, but that is another item that is the 3rd item of Siege. That is
okay,
what,
I thought
yeah.
you said that.
So that is what gives him the reroll. So he rerolls all his ward saves
Oh,
of 1, which means you basically can only take a wound when you roll a ward save of a 2, or if you roll a 1 or 2 on the reroll. He also has a +1 armor save because of Chaos Armor, Charmed Shield, and yeah, that's basically it.
But how many points is this?
This is 320 points.
And he's a wizard? Or he's just a lord?
Yeah, he's just Lord. He's a Chaos Lord. And he rolls 5 attacks, Strength 5, Weapon Skill 8. And he also has 3 attacks from the disc, which is Strength 4, Weapon Skill 3. So a total of 8 attacks.
How do you use him? Is he a BSB or he's just a general flying around with his
So
firing
you're just a general
presence?
flying around, and you hit units with it, you hunt war machines,
So
you're
he's
a
a
nuisance.
Saber Tusk, but with more
Yeah, but you
power.
don't use him for redirecting. but that is what he does.
It sounds absolutely unkillable.
Yeah, he's an unkillable
Like,
lord.
you basically have to win by combat resolution.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you're never gonna deal any significant amount of wounds on him, and he's probably gonna dish out like 2 or 3 wounds. So you basically have to have more ranks and then get flank charges on him or something.
Yeah, something like that.
How far would a huge block of slaves go? Like Skaven slaves with many ranks, so he gets he would get 3 points. You have 1 for maybe a charge and 1 for the banner, but still you would kill 5.
No banner on slaves.
No
No, you
banner on
can't have
slaves.
banner on
on
slave.
slave.
But if you use something with many ranks, I mean, you get 3 for rank bonus,
Yeah.
you can get for banner, maybe BSB. But if he has charge, I mean, deal 4 wounds and it's gonna be bad.
The thing that you the last thing that he misses is like stubborn or unbreakable.
Yeah.
But beyond that because I was thinking about him versus the Kadai.
Yeah.
I have Kadai. He's 324. 4+
Regen?
4+ ward save, and you have to re-roll failed to wounds, and so he's
Yeah.
very very tough to kill as well. But he also has unbreakable.
Yeah, and unbreakable is a broken rule. That the Steam Tank has that as well, and that is one of the reasons that it is broken. Like it's just because of that rule.
Because that the Lord is absolutely disgusting, but the counter will be win it by combat resolution, and the only thing he's missing is stubborn or unbreakable. But he is disgusting.
He's disgusting.
But what are you giving up to be able to have a Lord for 320 points?
I'm not really sure. Like you're giving up points basically, because usually
in that army, I think it's fine.
Yeah, because you can still have a level 4 wizard.
You can still have it.
Yeah, you can still have it. So you're not really giving up anything except for the point cost.
Okay.
And aside from those two, I also have the Hell Pit Abomination, I have the Beasts of Nurgle, and I have the Cauldron of Blood. And those are also 3 incredibly broken units.
Your favorite or the worst?
My favorite amongst those units is probably the Cauldron of Blood. I think that is top tier broken. I played that the last tournament, and when you play it in a block of Witch Elves, I mean, they have always strike first, which means that they get to reroll if they have higher initiative than their opponent. And they don't have that good initiative. But when you have the Cauldron of Blood, it doesn't matter because that gives them hatred as well. So even if you have higher initiative, they still get to reroll. And they also, because they have Murderous Prowess, they get to reroll all their 2 wounds as well. And they have Frenzy. So they have 3 attacks each in the front row, rerolling to hit and to wound, with poison attacks. Weapon skill 4, lots of attacks.
And they get Frenzy as well, right?
Yeah, they get Frenzy. Get Frenzy. So it's absolutely broken. And they all have a 5+ ward save, and the Cauldron itself has a 4+ ward save. So it's really, really hard to kill it.
You know what I would do? I would give you 6 saber tusks.
Yeah, that is a solution, I suppose.
But
to redirect me.
With Frenzy, I mean, with skilled players and Frenzy, if you were to lower their leadership and put a bait unit like a saber tusk, and force a charge.
Well, it's also when he wins, the counter to you must Cauldron. Pursue. If he wins combat, a Frenzy unit must continue. So
he must.
A saber tusk against that unit is horrendous.
I think this
backup.
is a hill Andre is going to die on. I still have to ask. You play the Cauldron in a horde of Witch Elves. That's like the staple unit.
Yeah, you basically have to do that, and then it becomes like I think it's like 370 points something for 275 for the Cauldron and everything, but it becomes like 700 points with the Witch Elves. So it's quite an expensive unit, but it's one of those units that there's basically nothing that can fight against it.
No,
like in straight up face-to-face combat, I'm not sure there's anything that can really stand.
But do you have to do you have to build your whole list around that staple unit choice?
I think so, because it's very easy, like Andrea said, they put the saber tusk or something else in front of it. That is basically the solution, to try to get them maybe to charge with Frenzy or redirect them. So they need a support system. So you build your army around them.
Yeah.
You build with maybe a flank unit, you build with something that can deal with the chaff. You need to build around them. So you definitely have to do that.
And is the unit in an army that is built around it. Those types of lists tend to be not so agile in different scenarios.
One trick pony.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a one trick pony.
Yeah, but is it agile? Could you play it in all the scenarios and have a decent chance, or is it?
I think so. I mean, I placed 3rd with it last year, and I think it works well in Ace.
They have high movement, right? Witch Elves, or fairly
5.
The movement 5, but I had Banner of Swiftness was mine.
And I mean that
6.
makes everything.
Yeah.
To be able to do any kind of scenario, if you have high movement, it's not an issue.
But the counter obviously is running them into a forest.
That happened last time.
Don't make him cry.
I overran. I charged a unit, I overran into a forest. I failed the dangerous drain test. I rolled a 6, and the Cauldron insta died. And when the Cauldron dies, it's just done.
Yeah,
it's done.
So you could technically. I did that. I shot it out with a cannon at the same time. Because I faced off a list with 2 cauldrons.
Yeah.
And the first thing I did was to shoot one out with, I think it was a hell cannon or something, and the cauldron just disappeared, and my opponent sat down in his chair and reflected on life. Later in the game, he cast Purple Sun through my trolls, and I was done. So we were both annoyed.
Yeah.
I think everyone is getting a little bit too curious. Martin?
Yeah.
What's your
Yeah,
list?
sorry. Cheat.
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 But I know for a fact that I also have the Hell Pit Abomination. It's on my list because it's...
How many Frost Phoenix do you have on your list?
I actively chose not to pick the Frost Phoenix because I wanted some variation.
Yeah.
Now I only have it twice in a four-man group. But I have the Hell Pit Abomination. I have the Hell Cannon. I would say is broken. And I would say Phoenix Guard. I'm not quite sure if they fit, but I would say that they are too good to be left out of a list. I mean, I haven't seen another unit that is as out to include as the Phoenix Guard. And my last 2 picks are High Queen Khalida from Tomb Kings, because she gives the unit she joins poisonous attacks. Put her in a unit of 100 archers, for example, and you can churn out damage. I've met the list and it sucked.
But one point I want to make there about the Phoenix Guard. Like the Phoenix Guard, they are incredibly strong, right?
Yeah.
They have 4+ ward save, halberds,
skill 5.
strength 4, weapons. Yeah, really good. But 24, I think 24 Phoenix Guard is 400 points. I'm pretty sure I have that in my list. But 20 Doomfire Warlocks is 500. And they have a 4+ ward save as well. They have 2 attacks each at strength 4 and poison attacks.
And mobility.
And they are a wizard and they have the mobility.
But it's the ward save, right?
No, they have the same ward save.
Oh.
Yeah.
Both of them has 4+.
Yeah.
Is it that you can make a ward save better on the Phoenix Guard?
Only if you have a high magic wizard
yeah.
in it.
Okay.
So I would argue that
Yeah, it might
the
not fit,
Doomfire,
but
it does fit, but I think the Doomfire Warlocks is like they're a
I
bit
would
step
agree
above.
that they're above, because they are 15 points each, which is it's more than fairly cost. I would say they could be 18 points each.
Yeah, but they are good for infantry.
Yeah.
They're quite expensive still.
My
They have
last
good
unit
weapons as
is
well.
a unit that we've seen. I would say Throg, to be able to pick trolls as a core choice. You can fill the core slot with a unit of 17 trolls and Throg, and they have a 4+ regen save.
Yeah.
They have 3 attacks each. They are strong. The downside is that they have stupidity, but with Throg they are leadership 8, so they should be able to dish out damage.
Yeah.
And they have the vomit attack, and he has his copious vomit attack. Something. It's a really strong base to be a core choice. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's 790 points for 17 trolls with Throg, and it's stupid. And it gives all the monsters Throg's leadership within 18 inch and so on. I would say it is broken. I would say it should cost more.
I've heard people making the argument that Throg is like one of the stronger named characters.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I haven't played against him, and so it's you, Martin, that I know that runs him. And we don't run the type of list where we get into like those heavy close combat quarters. So I don't know actually, but I think that Mons, you played against it with the Cauldron, and it faces off against like fairly.
It faces off pretty well. I think I beat up your trolls in that fight.
Yeah.
I think that is a game we had on the channel, but I think Throg is incredibly strong because you get to take trolls, but I think you need to go bananas on the trolls. I think that Martin will like 17 trolls. I think that's the way you play him, because if you only take like 6 trolls, I don't think it's worth it.
No, then it's a waste.
I
But
think he has 2 issues in a tournament setting. First issue is if you have a opponent with flaming attacks.
Yeah, I'm done.
The second issue is Throg in himself. If you take him out, the rest is going to fall.
Yeah.
they fall because if they are in combat, they're gonna keep rolling. But the stupidity test on leadership 4 or something.
It's
6.
not quite like a vampire count's army, but almost.
Yeah,
if
but
you
it's
take
still
Throg out, they are going to have a hard time.
But it's still
Leadership 4.
800 points
Yep.
in core in Warriors of Chaos. You still have 1600 points to play with for the rest. So it's a stupidly good core choice.
yes,
Yeah, but it's still like, it is a stupidly good poor choice. But
Core choice.
but Warriors of Chaos have insane core already. Like
Yeah.
it would be way stronger in something that has shitty core,
It would be.
like
yeah.
Empire or something, Orcs and Goblins, for example. Then it would be just stupid.
Yeah.
But Warriors of Chaos have pretty decent core. Like it's not a problem to find core, I think, in Warriors of Chaos.
No, it's not. It would be stronger in another army, but
it's a
still-
super strong unit. But the thing that doesn't, in my opinion, that doesn't tip it over the edge, it's the two weaknesses of Flaming and Throg himself. But beyond that, they are nasty.
yeah.
I kind of think there's one more aspect to it, depending on what kind of point system that you're on. In Swedish comp, you can get 50% if you kill half the unit. In the ordinary rulebook, you only get points for the unit if you actually kill it, and killing 17 trolls is super hard.
You don't get half in Swedish.
Yeah.
Comp. No.
Well,
Isn't it?
No, it's a house rule from Dallas.
House rule,
Lager.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Mm.
Yeah, but if you don't have that rule and having to kill 17 trolls, like even if you kill Trog, how are you gonna finish off
They
17
flee.
trolls? Yeah,
They
but
flee.
that's like hard to do because it's gonna be in the end of the game, and if you're in the midst
I-
of the
I-
table.
why I say so is because I've done it.
Yeah,
When
so-
they flee, it's an issue.
I don't think you
Stupidity.
can get them to flee. I think you have to kill Trog at a distance. Maybe like with a cannon.
But
Having
they,
3 cannons, make him do lookouts, sir, kill him, and then it's like
Yeah,
my
but
Empire
that's a
list.
super niche list.
Yeah, my Empire
but you
list.
still have to be in combat with them because they have stupidity. So,
No, stupidity, they will just stumble forward. You can just ignore them the entire game.
Yeah,
yeah,
but
but
then
if
you
want
don't
the
kill them.
points,
Yeah, if
then
you want the points, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's like one of the aspects to trolls. Like it's so hard to kill them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really. But which one of your units would you say is the most broken unit?
I would want to say if you're able to play the unit correctly, I would say the Hell Pit Abomination. But I'm kind of leaning towards High Queen Khalida because she has more than just poisonous attacks. I don't know. I think she's a wizard as well.
Yeah, but
It's
the-
a lot
the-
of stuff crammed into a point package.
Yeah, but she's fairly expensive and
She's over
also
300 points.
300. So I would say that the Hell Pit is worse because of the like random movement. The Hell Pit can do a lot of nasty stuff. Khalida is like in that of that army. I think the Hero Titan is worse.
Yeah, it might be.
No.
It might be.
Because
then
he-
I would have to tip against
Yeah.
the Hell Pit.
Yeah, because
If you are able to play it, because
Yeah.
it's really random.
Hero Titan's up there in bro. Didn't you lift up the Hero Titan?
Yeah, I
I
thought-
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we never discussed it because
No.
that is also a broken unit for
we,
sure.
we
Yeah.
could
It's
I-
cheap.
Yeah.
we have chosen like that
Yeah.
Mm.
our worst unit. If we're gonna push for like the top 4, top 5, I can start to remove a unit from my list.
Yeah.
So I would like to. I could start removing the Hero Titan. The Hero Titan isn't the worst one in the game, but the Hero Titan gives you a D3 to cast. So every time you cast a spell and you are near the Hero Titan,
Yeah.
he gives you a D3 added to the value.
I think it's 18-inch bubble.
Yeah, but and it doesn't like sound super bad, but when you play it and the opponent always get like 2 more, 1 more,
It's
2
effectively
more.
one
Yeah.
more die.
Yeah, they have a level 4 wizard in base,
Yeah,
and it makes it so that you always have to use 1 extra dispel die than you normally do.
Yeah.
And that really screws over
it
your
screws,
entire game. Yeah.
screws over the entire game. It's when we say if you have a wizard and you make him 1 wizard level higher,
Yeah.
it costs 25 points.
Yeah.
So if you have him in the middle and you have 3 wizards around him, basically you have given all those 3 wizards 1 more level.
At least 1.
Yeah,
Maybe
at
2,
least-
maybe 3.
2, yeah, like, and it's super annoying.
Yeah. His biggest weakness though is that he has no save.
Yeah.
No armor save,
Yes.
no ward save.
Really?
That's
Yeah,
why
so
we.
you can shoot him with like trash units, roll a 6, he takes a
Yeah.
wound,
Yes.
and he can't save.
That's why I remove him
Yeah.
as my first. He's not
Okay.
the worst one in the game, but that one is it's nasty.
But he is point effective. He's on
He's-
your list.
His point
Is he
effective
170?
185, I think.
Would you say he is an auto include, or do you have to,
Yes.
in
No.
the same way, build a large portion of your army around him? Do you have to have 3 wizard around him
Well,
to make him
If
point
I
worth?
would to play Tomb Kings, he would always be in it.
Would you
Because
always have 3 wizards?
you're-
I don't
No,
think
not
you
3
need,
wizard, but Tomb Kings need to have. First off, they need to have a wizard. Second off, they probably always need 2, because they are so dependent on magic.
Yeah.
So having him
Okay.
like a
I would probably not
Well,
leave home without him.
No,
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't think I would.
Yeah, I think even if you only have a level 4 wizard, just making that level 4 wizard a minimum
Yeah.
level 5
Yeah.
is worth it
So-
still.
So now Andre has removed one. I can remove 2 on the dot. I can take away the Phoenix Guard. It wouldn't be as broken as any of your units. And the second one would be Throg and his units. I buy the argument. I think the thing you said about they have a really good core choice tipped me over to be able to say I wouldn't call him broken. Which one would you remove? The steam tank? Please say the steam.
Now I have a hard time deciding which one to remove. To be honest, but I think it will probably have to be the beasts of Nurgle. I think it's gonna have to be them. I mean, they're incredibly good. You get the -1 to hit against them. They have the ward save, but they're quite high variance as well. You have 1 attack plus D6, which can become absolute insanity, but it doesn't have to be that way. And I'm also a bit on the fence on like.
It's also a regen save.
Yeah,
so
regen
flaming
save
attacks-
is a bit problematic.
Yeah, I can add on that they don't have flanks, so you can't flank charge them, get any like
Yeah.
combat resolution bonuses, and they can also challenge.
Every one of them can challenge.
Yeah, and they have
But-
poison attacks as well.
Yeah,
If you just out of curiosity, I haven't faced them. I've heard they're terrible, but are they played in a group of 6, right?
yeah, 6
Is
or
that like
more.
the
I
sweet
would
spot?
probably do something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they are insanely strong, I think. But I don't think they're the most broken unit. I mean, they're 60 points per model.
Yeah, they're quite expensive.
And I think that's pretty fair costed. Like if they were 80 points, I think they would be too expensive. So I don't think
Mm.
they're in that spot like they're too expensive, because grabbing 8 of them is still quite a big investment. So I'll probably remove them from my list.
I think that there is probably like certain lists where they become even stronger. There's this like army, I think they call it the Wall of Nurgle. You just play. Yeah, I think that's like the old term for it. You just bring the what are they called? Plague
Bearers.
Plague bearers. You bring plague bearers. You can bring epidemics, and then you have 9 beasts of Nurgle, and you have the drones, and basically no unit ever gets off the table unless you have flaming attacks.
And Epidemics is an honorable mention, because
Yeah.
that dude is fucking broken too. Like in a Nurgle list, that guy is absolutely broken. I forgot about him because he's so hard comped in both Swedish comp and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Triple Crown comps. You can basically never play him, but that guy is broken.
Yeah, Epidemics with the full Wall of Nurgle is
Yeah.
probably like honorable mention. He
Yeah.
didn't make any of our lists, but
Are you gonna be the first to remove the Frost Heart?
no. Frostheart is staying on my list. I'm gonna remove Doomfire Warlock. I'm gonna remove Goblin Doomdiver.
Really?
Yeah, it's a good unit, but I don't think it's as bad as the other. And I'm also gonna remove the Chimera. I think it's arguably a better monster than the Frostheart, but I think that the Frostheart's strength is in its utility.
The problem with the Chimera is it doesn't have that many wounds. Has it
4?
4 wounds? And you have to buy region for it as well, so that you have to do
Yeah, it's
basically.
15
But,
points.
Yeah,
You'd be
you have to
dumb
do
not
it.
to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's really good to give it regeneration for sure. But I still think it's somewhat fair. Monsters are supposed to be strong, and it's still 230 points something.
I don't agree with your removal of the Doomdiver. I think the Doom Diver is insane.
Strong.
It's really strong.
I'm
but
quite surprised you don't have the soup kitchen, the pot launcher from the Dogs of War.
Halfling hot pot.
Yeah.
Halfling hot pot. It's 50 points, no armor
Yeah,
saves.
well, now that you mention it, halfling hot pot.
I thought about that when I was building my
stupid.
list. Yeah, it's actually
Yeah,
stupid.
Because I was thinking about
Why didn't
like
you
a
mention
weapon
it then?
team, a weapon team in Skaven that has
Yeah.
basically the same thing: small template, no armor saves. But I think the thing that pushes them away from the broken thing is the randomness of the scatter die and the artillery die.
I can shed some light in that unit in hot pot, and I do it by removing the field trebuchet, because the field trebuchet by itself is one of the most point effective units in the game. I think so,
How many
because
points?
it's 90 points.
Yeah.
It's a stone thrower, but the thing is, it's strength 5 on the entire circle. So when you hit something with this stone thrower, it takes away 90 points each hit. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But most of the units in Bretonia isn't this good. So just that unit itself is very good. It's in an army that is not so super good. So in itself, it's not so bad. And I think the hot pots is the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that unit is very, very good, but Dogs of War, in 8th edition at least, is overpriced. And also is Bretonia. Bretonia is overpriced in general, so the field trebuchet is a very point effective, but since it is in Bretonia, you can always play. It's not,
But
it's, yeah.
Could you make that argument for the Saber Tusk? Because
Well,
they
the
are in an
Saber
ogre
Tusk-
army, which is kind of hard to build. I agree, you always have 21 points over. It's like the last 100 points that's difficult.
Well,
but
If you think about what the Ogre Kingdom needs, they want to make the charge. And by having this unit controlling the charge, it's even more powerful in that specific army.
okay, so you flip the argument around, like it's not.
Well, I mean, if
Yeah.
if you were to give a dwarf player the field trebuchet,
Yeah.
he would never leave without it, because it's much cheaper than his stone thrower and it's better than his stone thrower.
But I agree with your argument that it's basically what Ogre needs. They need the Saber Tusk. But I don't think a unit needs to be in a good army to be broken either. Like, some things are just so good that you always include them. And I think both the Halfling Hotpot, the Trebuchet,
Yeah.
and the Goblin Doom Diver, they're so good. Like, if you
Yes.
don't take them in your armies, then you're making a mistake, basically. Like,
Yes,
they
but-
are that good.
But they are like your MVPs, or they're super good units. But I don't think that anybody would. When I hear broken, it's almost a little bit negative. So it's almost some cheese on it.
Yeah.
Like the steam tank is up there being
I
broken.
think this is a personal attack to Morris.
No, but
the whole episode. This unit
it is.
that you're playing.
It's
Why do we
almost-
hate Mons lists?
if you were to play I say Ogre Kingdom as well. If you play Ogre Kingdom and you bring 4 Saber Tusks, the opponent is going to have a hard time.
But I think that the big problem with all the war machines that we're discussing is the fact that they are war machines. Like, usually you have a unit of war machine hunters, and if you just get the charge, they're done.
Yeah.
It's over. And something like the steam tank, it's a war machine. You can't charge it.
No.
You can't,
You can't.
like, it can defend itself, and war machines cannot.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes them fair, because there's always a solution
Yeah.
to killing them.
Yeah.
Like, what is your solution to Cauldron of Blood, to Doomfire Warlocks, to Steam Tank, like Kadai Destroyer?
Yeah.
It's not, you can't just take them away.
You
Like,
have to really focus
Yeah.
what you're going to do if you're going to take those units away.
Yeah, it's not an easy solution. A
Yeah.
war machine charge it with something.
I
and it's
still
done.
say that the field trebuchet is
Yeah.
super point effective, but it's not a broken unit.
Oh.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, probably. And then I agree with the Doom Diver
Yeah.
as well after this discussion.
Yeah, and the thing about most artillery and war machines, they can actually like engage with each other. You can like put a cannon against the trebuchet, and you can try to use the trebuchet against the cannon,
Yeah.
and waste a couple of turns as they try to destroy each other. They are not really threatening other units until they have dealt with their own threats first. first.
Yeah.
But I would like to remove and just keep one unit basically. By the logic of this, I would like to remove the Hell Cannon, even though it is stubborn, unbreakable, and but it can be locked up in combat.
And it also has a very big weakness that you take the leadership in the beginning of each turn, and if
like a giant,
it has a high leadership,
yeah.
but it can really screw you over when that fails, like really screw you over.
It's one of those units when it's good, it's
beyond good.
Beyond good.
And it's fairly expensive too, right?
210 points.
Yeah,
So I wouldn't say I would say
cheaper
it's
than a Steam tank.
definitely worth it. I would pick away High Queen Khalida because she in herself is broken in a large allocated unit. So you have to build your army around it and becomes sort of the one-trick pony. If you want the poisonous attacks on 100 archers, go ahead, but you can't play as many scenarios. It's a basically a dwarf army. It's kind of static.
Yeah, and I mean, and she's in a unit with archers with strength 3. So as long as something has like an armor save, like if I go up with my Empire Knights 1+ armor save, I mean you shoot a lot of attacks.
Yeah.
But I still only fail on once. Yeah,
take full armor
save.
Faint. Yeah.
So it's like.
But they always hit on 5. They always hit on 5s. They always wound on 6s.
Yeah.
With the poisonous attack. So.
It's really strong unit.
But you have to allocate a lot of points together with her, and she has a lot of special attacks that I think she's worth the points, but not game breaking in the sense that you give up some stuff to have her.
I agree.
So my pick is the Hell Pit Abomination, basically.
Yeah. And I can also remove the Steam tank from my unit from my list. I think the Steam tank is incredibly good, and the 1+ armor save, grinding attacks, everything. It's a super good unit, but it does have some downsides with the generating of Steam points. And even though it has a high armor save, if you go into it with White Lions, Executioners, anything that has a pretty high strength, it's going to die. Like played against dwarves, it just melts. So it's really good against some units, but it's also 250 points. And I don't think it's really broken. What takes people off guard for the most part is that at least a lot of people that I've played against, they haven't played against that unit, and they don't really know how to play against it. Like they think they can charge it and stuff, and you can't really. Not with any unit. You need like a specific thing.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's really up there in the most broken stuff.
Jonas, what are you leaving on your list?
I would like to leave the Doomfire Warlocks. I think that Frostheart Phoenix is a super strong unit, but Doomfire Warlocks is just broken. And I kind of want to argument against the like Saber Tusks as well. Like if you have 2 armors that you are clashing and you are like in a hurry, like try to get into combat, then the Saber Tusk can be really powerful. But if you are playing like a long strategic games, you intend to use all 6 turns for it, you can counteract the Saber Tusk if you have chaff of your own. Let's take your time, take the first 1-2 turns, kill off the dogs, or kill off a unit nearby the dogs, because the dogs only have 4 leadership, and they are gonna flee as soon as
the
another...
Saber Tusk.
Yeah, the Saber Tusk. Yeah, they have super low leadership. So if there's ever a time when there's another unit 6 inches near them that dies, they're just gonna run off the table.
So that's a good argument against the Saber Tusk, like the best I've heard, because a redirecting unit, if it's a Great Eagle or it's a Saber Tusk, you have to know exactly what you're doing. You have to know your distances, you have to know your arch. It's for the experienced player to be able to allocate and use it, because it can backfire as well. They can use it as if you use it incorrectly, the enemy can use it as a rubber band to get into you. So if you want to play them, you have to know exactly what you're doing in what phase.
If you're playing a good player, they will use their chaff against it, and they will lose to most chaff.
Yeah.
Like even if we talk like Illyrian Reavers on the charge will kill them. Easily kill the Saber Tusk, and win combat.
And how many points is Illyrian Reavers?
80 points. Yeah. But they also have higher movement and they're fast cav and they can shoot and stuff like that. So as redirectors, there's not as point effective. But I think that if you both play a game where you want to get the charged in, and my chaff is stronger than yours, I'm gonna remove your chaff and I have my chaff remaining, and then the ball is in my court. like then I have the upper hand. So it kind of depends on what you're facing off against as well.
I hear the room. It's a tough room.
Yeah. But
I'm
you
not,
still
I'm
have
not, I'm not gonna die on the hill on the saber tusks, but I still think that point value on a saber tusk 25 points and what 21 points. Sorry, 21 points and what it can do, it's insane.
Yeah.
But I also gonna I can remove the saber tusk and I can also remove the Frostheart Phoenix. The Frostheart Phoenix, it takes away 12% of the wounds when it's in combat. That's disgusting, and it's also reliably take away. It also give always strike last. That's also very, very disgusting. But it's set at 240 points, so it's a fairly expensive unit. But then I would make the argument I want to keep the Kadai, and why is mostly because it's unbreakable and it's super tough to do anything about him. You have to, if you are against him and you want to take him down, you have to focus so much energy to actually take him down.
Yeah, I think the Kadai Destroyer is
how many
monster.
wounds and what kind of saves does he have?
6 wounds. I think it's 5 or 6 wounds. But the save is a 4+ ward, and that's not like the super annoying thing, but the annoying thing that you have to re-roll successful to wound rolls.
Yeah.
If they're
Unless
not
you have magical weapons.
Unless you have magical weapons.
Yeah.
So if you don't have magical weapons, if you're against a normal unit, he becomes an issue.
Yeah.
And it's high toughness as well, so you're probably gonna wound on 5s, 6s best
Yeah,
case
and
scenario.
then you have to re-roll
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, and he has high weapon skill as well. I think he's super annoying to play against.
It's just that he's just so annoying. So point by point, he's evil.
But I want to make an argument for the Frost. Both of you brought the Frostheart Phoenix. I didn't
Yep.
put him in my list. Otherwise, I would have, because I think that unit is straight up broken. I mean, first of all, it has 5 wounds. It has a 5+ ward save, and it also makes so the opponent in close combat always hits last and gets -1 strength. On top of that, it has weapon skill 6 for some unknown reason.
Yeah.
At strength 6, Thunderstomp, toughness 5.
Yeah. And lots of attacks as well.
What's his save?
4 or 5?
It's
Uh,
5 plus.
only the ward save.
But he can get a 4+ ward if you roll on
The table
Yeah.
with the rolls on. Yeah.
Tune to magic.
Yeah, I think that in a straight up fight, the Frostheart Phoenix beat the Kadai Destroyer. I think it does. I think I killed the Jonas Keeper of Secret this weekend. Like,
Yeah, please remind me.
yeah, I killed I think it
So
will kill like a
happy.
Demon Prince. I think it will kill the Kadai. I think, like,
I don't know if it will kill the Kadai, actually. Probably.
what stats does the Kadai have?
7 toughness, 7.
But I think
it's really strong.
The thing that tips it over, we've touched the subject, but what army is the unit played in? I think the Frostheart Phoenix, since the High Elves have the reroll if they have higher initiative and so on, it could only buff all the units in that army. Everything gets better because the High Elves are low toughness.
Yeah.
They're toughness 3. You need the -1 strength on units.
It even has toughness 6. I thought it was toughness 5. It's toughness 6.
6,
Yeah.
6.
And it has a armor save on top of that. It's actually broken. And but it is. It is really broken. And especially in an army like High Elves.
Yeah.
Like High Elves is one of the tier 1 armies. And then you get the Frostheart Phoenix. Like, even if you didn't have it, they would be tier 1.
It's so perfectly aligned with to give always strike last and to give -1 strength. That's like the perfect thing.
Yeah, it
To
goes so
have
well
the perfect
with
buffs
the,
to go in with a High Elf.
Yeah. What stat line does the Kadai have? Here, let's hear the face off.
Movement 9.
A movement 10 on the Frostheart.
Yeah,
Weapon skill 6.
Same weapon skill.
No, sorry, weapon skill 5.
Yeah. So higher on the Frostheart.
Ballistic skill 3.
Ballistic skill 0.
Strength 7.
Strength 6.
Toughness 6.
Toughness 6.
6 wounds.
5 wounds.
5 attacks. No, 5 initiative.
3 initiative.
6 attacks.
4 attacks.
And
But your strength is gonna go from 7 to 6, so we're gonna have the same strength.
yes,
And you're not gonna hit first.
I have initiative 5.
Yeah, but
ha-
always
have-
strike
Always
last.
strikes last.
Yeah, always strike last. Yes.
Yeah.
So you're gonna hit, but
And how many points is the Kadai Destroyer?
325.
325. Yeah, I mean,
Ah.
then the Kadai probably wins, but it's gonna be a tight matchup.
It's gonna be tight. But
Yeah.
he also have the unbreakable. He has like bound by fire, burning bright.
Unbreakable
But
is
it
has-
has magical attacks
I,
as well.
I have
Yeah.
frenzy D3, so I
Yeah.
get more attacks.
Yeah.
It's like he has a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he has
Yeah,
a
but-
lot of stuff.
He has
But-
a lot of stuff.
So by the 100-point difference, if I get a unit of 10, what are they called, Phoenix Guard,
Yeah.
into the side, then they should win. Point by point, then the Frost Heart and the Phoenix Guard should be able to win.
I think I
Frost
would
Heart
then.
and a Saber Tusk.
Well, it's
Four.
gonna be tough. I mean, he
Yeah.
still has like the then I get Thunderstomp. If you have
So it could really work in the.
so I would get pretty high combat resolution, and you can flee. I won't flee.
No.
Okay. But
But
should we do a vote then? Like Frostheart Phoenix or Kadai Destroyer?
I think I want to throw out. Who did you say that you removed, Jonas? I want to throw you under the bus. So you had the Phoenix as well.
I've removed like everything except Doomfire Warlocks. I think Doomfire
Okay.
Warlocks is broken.
So you think Doomfire Warlocks is worse than Kadai?
I think that Doomfire
agree.
Warlocks is worse.
I agree
Have you
with- I-
pointed out your number one?
Uh,
Is it the hero kitted out?
Yeah, I have the Hell Pit Abomination, but I can remove that since you have it. And my number one is the Cauldron Blood. But I think also the
Frostheart Phoenix or
no the Demon Lord on the disc.
yeah.
That is absolutely broken. And if you play that, you won't have any friends left probably, because it's not very fun to play against. That said, it's still 320 points. And if that Lord goes up against maybe the Kadai Destroyer or the Frostheart Phoenix,
I think the Lord probably wins.
it's-
Yeah.
might win.
You might win.
Might.
Absolutely.
But it's only strength 5 against the Frostheart Phoenix. It would be
Yeah, but it
strength
won't
4.
get any wounds off.
No, but you're gonna get lucky sometimes. I killed one of those lords with a cannonball.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, that's
so
the
I
way.
think it will probably lose because it doesn't have enough strength. So if you put a magical weapon on it, it can be absolutely broken.
I do agree that Frostheart Phoenix should be among the like top 5.
Yeah.
But I also think that the Kadai should. So
Yeah.
then I want to remove Hell Pit. I would say Kadai over Hell Pit Abomination. And basically keep both.
Yeah.
Hell Pit, no, Kadai and Frostheart Phoenix.
Yeah.
So we have the picks. It's Frostheart Phoenix, Kadai Destroyer, Cauldron of Blood, or the Hell Pit Abomination. I'm just
and I
gonna.
also have the Lord still remaining.
You still have the Lord remaining.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't you think that's broken? Can anyone argue against that not being
Uh,
incredibly broken?
The issue with him, as I see it, is he is also going to be the general.
Probably. You
Yeah.
can have a Chaos Lord, but
So you can, but so most likely he's going to be the general, and as we stated before, he has one weakness, and it is combat resolution. So and then you will get him and the general points of 100. So that's what I think he has working against him.
Yeah.
I think what's also working against him, you can't catch him. Like he's a flyer level 10. But he's also so expensive that you need him to be in combat.
Yeah.
And at some point you're gonna get locked up. And if you get flank charge and stuff,
It's going to be an issue.
it's gonna be bad.
So
No.
I think he should go, but I see why he's here,
Yeah.
because it's nasty.
I think that you can also make a case for him being locked up in regular units. Like, imagine that you have 40 spearmen from High Elves. Gonna like win or like deal damage, but he's not gonna like break them.
No.
That's very likely. I think that the play against such a unit is just to tie it up in combat with something that you can spare, like a steam tank. Like, charge the steam tank into it.
Yeah. And even if you charge something inside, they're still gonna be steadfast and stuff, and that makes him a bit weaker, I guess. But that is also the problem with like Frostheart, Kadai Destroyer, and all of those units.
There's always a solution. To
they basically need some backup, because everything that they charge against is gonna be steadfast, basically.
Yeah.
But who if you would remove him, who was left?
I can
Cauldron.
remove him and keep the Cauldron, because I think the Cauldron is more versatile. Like you don't have to think that much. You need to choose a unit. I'm gonna go into this unit, and then you make sure the way is clear. You go in, everything's gonna die.
Yeah.
It's just everything's gonna die.
But we are down to Frostheart.
We're down to 4.
Kadai, Cauldron,
and the Hell Pit.
and the Hell Pit.
And I can make this quick.
And Doomfire Warlocks.
And Doomfire Warlocks.
We can keep those 5. So we are basically down to 5 units here.
We have the Frostheart, the Kadai, the Cauldron, the Hell Pit, and the Doomfire Warlocks.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna make this quick. The Hell Pit is not on the same level as the other 4 units. It's basically gonna cook down to Frostheart, I would say, have a strong place. Would you place the Cauldron of Blood above Frostheart or Kadai or Doomfire Warlocks?
That is a really difficult question. I mean, Frostheart is the best like utility piece in the game, in my opinion. Maybe Doomfire Warlocks. Yeah, but that is a really good question. I mean, I think the Frostheart Phoenix is probably the best utility piece in the game, or at least one of the best. Doomfire Warlocks is up there for sure. But Cauldron is another type of unit. Like you play that as just a basic win condition. The Frostheart itself isn't your win condition.
No,
it's like a cherry on top.
But you can almost any army wish that they had a Frostheart Phoenix.
Yeah, they do.
So if we have the top 4, Frostheart Phoenix, Kadai, Cauldron, and Doomfire Warlocks, I would argue that the number 1 is the Frostheart. He might be, because like you stated, he has a lot of attacks. He has high toughness. He takes down. He is super
he's
nasty.
such a good buff for the high elves.
But
he's like.
But I mean, not
army.
just high elves.
Any army
would pick him.
Is specifically perfect for high elves.
But they would play him in any army. But
Like
the
an
same
auto
is
include.
true for Doomfire Warlocks. The same is
Absolutely.
true.
Yeah.
The same is true for
Absolutely.
Doomfire Warlocks is nasty.
I'm not sure. I'm kind
I
of
have my
split here,
votes.
because I think Doomfire Warlocks they're absolutely broken.
Yeah.
Like any army would take them. They have 2 incredibly good spells. No, what was you gonna say?
No, I think that I just want to add on to you after you're done.
Yeah,
Like-
but they're fast cav. They're movement 9, I believe. 2 attacks each, poison attacks, strength 4, always strike first, pretty good weapon skill, good initiative. They're like the complete package. And if you take like a regular level 2 wizard, you have to roll for the spells. In Doomfire Warlocks, you just get 2 great spells instantly.
What slot are they in? Rare. Yeah. Okay. My vote is definitely on the Doomfire Warlocks because of the versatility. The thing that really sells them is the 4+ ward and the fast cab. You're gonna have a really tough time, even though you have a unit that can slay them outright, like White Lions on the charge. They can slay them, but they're not gonna get the charge.
But yeah, and they're so versatile. Like I played them last tournament in my list of Dark Elves, and you can use them as War Machine Hunters. You can use them as wizards. They're cheap enough that you can just throw them away to get away a charge from your Cauldron. Like
you can 6 dice a spell.
Yeah, and they can fight a lot of things. You don't have to be afraid of a miscast. Like as an utility piece, they are the complete package. It's almost as the fly as well, because movement 9 fast cav.
Like, If you're talking about the market worth being 180 plus, I mean that's an increase with a 50%. None of the other units would be increased by 50%. I wouldn't say that the Kadai should be 450. I wouldn't say the Frostheart should be 360.
But I also
so
would...
point by point, I would agree that the Doomfire Warlocks are stupid.
Yeah.
I would argue that the Frostheart Phoenix can take out all the units that the Doomfire Warlocks can, and it can also tip the scale on taking out a Death Star.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think. Oh,
I kind of want to like. Did you ever fight against a high elf army that got in the Frostheart Phoenix and they're like horde against your Column of Blood? Because if you get like that combo charge against the column, I think that they might fall to like a well coordinated Phoenix Guard and like Frostheart Phoenix attack.
maybe, but they still have the poison.
Yeah,
And
but
then-
like,
But yeah, that could happen. But I think the argument against the Frostheart Phoenix, because I played against a lot of high elf lists with my Empire army. One cannonball. The
We
Frostheart
haven't
Phoenix
discussed-
is dead.
Yeah, we haven't quite
No.
discussed.
Yeah,
that
it's only a
we-
5+4.
Yeah, we haven't discussed
yeah, but
the cannon
you have
itself.
five. You have
Yeah.
5 wounds, and if you roll 1 to 4 on wounding it, it still stays on the table.
Yeah, but you can't do that with the Doomfire Warlocks. One cannonball will only kill one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
if you
yeah.
put the Doomfire Warlocks and the Frostheart Phoenix, the Frostheart Phoenix is more expensive, so you're more scared of losing it to a cannonball. And last time I played against the highest player, first turn, shot it, dead.
Yeah. Well, the cannon might be number one, to be honest. But the cannon is so powerful that nobody plays with like monsters or lords of
No,
monsters,
yeah.
because if there's a cannon in a tournament, they are dead.
Yeah, the cannons have basically killed the monster meta because
Yeah.
the cannons are too strong.
Yeah, and
yeah.
and
Yeah.
because the cannon exists and is so powerful, everybody makes their lists a little bit so that you aren't vulnerable to cannons,
Yeah.
and therefore they don't get so super powerful. But if nobody cared about cannons and everybody was bringing a monster, you have a guy with 2 cannons and he wins everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but-
well, I think
so,
the
so,
fix is
so the whole
overall-
argument for like an hour cooks
Yep.
down to this is the best unit, but it loses to a cannon, so this is the best.
Yeah.
That's just stupid.
Yeah, I mean, Doomfire Warlocks.
Yeah.
How do Doomfire Warlocks think about the organ gun?
I think they fare quite well
4
because of the
plus
4+
ward.
ward.
It's
Yeah.
the ward. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they
Like the ward save is so stupid.
And they have leadership 9, I think.
But
8
but
or
I
9.
would agree, like the cannons are, they're basically snipers. It's
Yeah.
fixed in WAP because you have some scatter.
Yeah.
It could move a little bit, but
I think they fix it in the old world as well. Like if they just tune it down to D3 wounds.
yeah,
And I think that there are certain tournaments. I kind of read through the rules for London Derby recently, and they have it so that if you fire on a monster and a lord, that they're like ridden monster, then you have to randomize, which you don't hit both.
I tried to figure out what on the table I hate more, Doomfire Warlocks or Frostheart Phoenix, but it's close.
It's really
It's
close.
It's
close.
really, really close. Do we have a vote? Who is Doomfire?
Doomfire.
I'm Doomfire, definitely.
Bury your hatchet.
I bury hatchet. I can
but-
live. I mean,
It
for
is
me-
close. It
for
is
me,
incredibly
for
close
me,
for me.
it's like
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
coin flip.
Yeah, I
So
agree. I
If
agree.
if Doomfire Warlocks is number 1 and number 2 would be
Number 1.5
No,
is
yeah,
the Frostheart.
no, not
No, number
that.
2,
But
but-
if the Cauldron, Kadai, and Frostheart is on place number 2, I can live with that.
Yeah, I think that's still like a good list.
I would agree that Doomfire Warlocks is disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's just say, like here in this discussion, like these are not all the broken units. We got to pick 5 each, but we didn't pick like the Blender Lord. We didn't
No.
pick the Dwarf Lord on the shield carriers, and there are other broken units.
Yeah.
But we picked the ones that we personally, the 5 most broken.
Well, and like every Warhammer community, everybody gets like their own meta.
Yeah.
So it would be really fun to hear all the listeners. What's your top 3 or what's your worst, most broken unit?
Yeah.
But in our play group, like we don't play with monsters, and therefore cannons
No.
isn't that bad.
No, but
But we don't play with monsters because cannons
Yeah,
are fucking
yeah,
broken.
That's a solid argument because
There are gonna be people sour out there that we haven't mentioned the Iron Blaster or the Skull Cannon.
But I mean, the fact that there are cannons in the way they are played in 8th edition, the meta, I would say, even though it's different, everybody talks about you have to have War Machine Hunters.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that a unit types rules forces everyone to build a list in a certain way. I would say cannons are, but they aren't broken because you can build around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it shifts how the entire game is played.
Yeah.
I think cannons, to be honest, just cannons is broken.
Cannon
It's-
is like a tier of its
Yeah,
own.
but it's too easy to hit with it. That's
Yeah.
the issue. If you
Yeah,
play
it's too
VAP
easy,
instead, it's a total different ball game. They get fair.
Yeah.
But in 8th edition, how you calculate how to hit, it's too easy.
It's
Yeah.
too easy. Yeah,
It probably is, yeah.
definitely. But we
yeah.
still sort of agreed on the Doomfire.
Yes, we are
Warlocks.
agreed.
That's a broken unit.
Yeah, that is incredible.
Would you take it over a cannon?
No, I take
No,
the
no, exactly.
no,
I would take,
I would take the Dubai Warlocks.
I would take the Doomfire Warlocks as well.
Yeah, I would.
I'm waiting to see the list, like 50 Doomfire Warlocks. 2 groups of 10, 1 group of 5.
They
Why
are
not just
rare.
go
They are
51?
rare,
Go
so
with
it's
the
hard.
horde. Go.
Yeah.
But so that's sort of settled. But as we said, we'd love to hear your opinions. Have we missed an obvious unit?
Yeah.
Is there some stupid combination that we haven't thought of? Could you play cannons in a horde? Are they good?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They get extra shots. If
Yeah,
you play
yeah.
them in horde. He's shooting extra
You
ranks.
just you're allowed to pick away models straight up. Yeah. We have the
Next segment, if we
Talk about some news.
some news. There's been a lot of news since we had any discussion. And as far as I know, there's been at least 3 articles on Games Workshop. So it's been Get in the Right Headspace for Moral and Psychology. It has been released an article How Magic Brings Sparkle to the Battlefield. And the last one, Living Saints and Special Rules.
Yeah.
The Games Workshop Almanac in the community side on Games Workshop.
Yeah.
So I thought that it's been a lot of discussion of them on the internet. So, but I think it's still fun to hear what Miscast Table think about some of the happenings in New Old World. So first off, is we discussed this in length in another video about break tests, and Mons wasn't an attendee.
No.
So the psychology article mentions more about how you break from combat and the specific states. Losing, fall back in good order, breaking free, and the last one is what's it called?
Hold your ground.
No,
Fall back in good order. Give ground.
give ground.
That's the
Yeah.
one, yeah.
In the latest article, they talk more about it. Have you read it, Mons?
Yeah, I have read that article.
How do you feel about how breaking will work in Old World from 8th edition?
I think it's in general pretty good because like flavor wise it's always felt a bit weird that some units just flee. It doesn't feel like lore wise they would, and these kind of units are often the ones with like elite soldiers, high leadership and stuff like that, and now they have like a greater chance of falling back in good order or like just not fleeing straight away. And for me I think that is a pretty good change. I have said this before though, that I am worried about the fact that it might be more close combat now than before because of that. And a Warhammer game is already like 2.5, 3 hours long. Will they be 4, 5 hours long if you get too much close combat? So, but we don't know how that's gonna go. But that is a bit my fear with it.
It's gonna be interesting to see
It
if
is
a game
less
gonna be.
attacks.
Yeah, but it's gonna be interesting to see. see if a game is going to be longer or shorter than 8th edition. I also agree that's very interesting, because I feel that 3 hours is like the max. In my opinion, it's getting too much if it takes 4 hours.
Yeah, and we have girlfriends, wives, not at the same time, but we have girlfriends, and some of us has wives, and some of us also have children, and like getting in a game on a like regular weeknight that is more than 3 hours is really not possible. Hard. So if it takes a lot more than that, then we're probably only going to be able to play on the weekends or play smaller sized games.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you're just going to disregard anything under 2,000 points. Oh, I can't.
Trash game. But the problem with under 2,000 points is that some armies doesn't work.
Yeah,
like play ogres low points.
And you want to have the big units too, because they're often fun. So that's
I haven't even thought about that. Like the way Magic works, it's gonna come up, but the way Magic works now, you're probably just throwing 2 dice, which means that
you are going to take that question very soon, my friend.
Okay.
Another thing that is changed is the fear rule. So instead of you changing the weapon skill, it's if you fail a fear test, it's flat -1 to hit. Jonas, do you have any? What do you feel about the fear rule? Is it better or worse?
I just want to make one addition before Jonas answers these questions. There's also one other thing that it does. When you try to charge a unit that has fear, you need to pass a leadership test.
Isn't that terror?
No, in this is fear.
Fear?
Before you charge a unit, you need to take a fear test.
I think that's terror.
I thought it was terror.
Yeah. I don't think so. Because this was the discussion we had. If an enemy with a lower unit strength wishes to charge their fear-casting unit, it must first take a leadership test.
I don't think that comes into play that very often.
Should we redo the question? Cut it, now we are on red.
Yeah, but one more thing I want to add to that question just is that if you try to charge a unit that has higher unit strength than you, and they cause fear, you need to take a leadership test in order to be able to make the charge, basically.
Personally, I don't think that's going to come into play all that often, because I think that if you have a lower unit strength, you are not very often going to want to charge that like more powerful unit. It might be that you have chaff, you want to like disrupt, sure, but in Warhammer you can usually like play around that. We don't know if the general is going to have his inspiring presence, but then you can position the general so that you get to roll on his or her leadership instead. It's good, but I think overall fear is probably worse in the old world, because sure it functions the same, that you reduce the chance to hit, but all time you get weapon skill 1, then you also improved your own chance to hit, and now you don't get that. Now you just get -1 to hit for the opponent, but you are not more likely to hit the opponent yourself. So I kind of think that it's a slight nerf, probably not by much.
I would agree.
I would disagree.
I would I agree with Jonas. I would say it's a slight nerf, since you don't get the bonus 2 hit against the unit that failed. The only thing they have is they have to pass. The upside is that they have to pass a leadership test to be able to charge. I don't know if it's a fair give and take, but I would say it's nerfed.
But my strategy when I play the game is almost always get in with one unit, get one in the flank. If my flank strategy starts to fail because of that, I'm gonna get screwed.
The case here is that you place your general so that you can roll on its leadership when you want that flank charge.
Maybe.
You have your general in the main unit, and then he can.
Fear.
This is a hill I will die on. But we can release the discussion about.
And fear in general, I feel is not such a powerful rule, because you have to fail a leadership test. It's not often that the opponent does. It's not often that an opponent fail a leadership test in this. So, but it's we could say it's we are not agreed on how good it is.
By popular vote, you win. We can say that.
But we got another special rule that we have been wondering about, and it's Armor Bane. and now we know what it does. What it does, it's when you roll to wound, and if it's a 6 to wound, you get another armor penetration modifier,
Yeah.
and it's within brackets. We have been curious about this, and what you think about it now when we know about what it is, Martin?
It's very similar to 40k, and I feel like initially it's one of those special rules where you have to divide the saves, and it's kind of annoying to some extent, but it also makes for a more dynamic game in ways. Like you don't automatically have the stupidly strong weapons. They have to roll a 6 to get the -2 armor penetration, or what's it called?
We still have some armor penetration rules. Armor bane is just that you can have
Extra.
armor penetration, and you can get it another extra on 6s.
Yeah,
I
but
just-
now you have to roll the saves. Like I have 8 saves on 5+, and then 5+, and then I have 3 saves on 3+. It divides. It's not that hard, but initially it's a bit of a mindset to get over, like to divide the saves in different strengths.
I think it's like it's a pretty inconsequential rule. I think. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it's that good either. It's like
That's kind of why I brought it up, because I also think that it doesn't do much,
no
but it's gonna make the game takes longer because you have to divide some
saves,
attacks.
Yeah.
So
saves.
maybe like one save is gonna have the armor bane.
Yeah,
It's a bit of an annoying rule.
It's
Isn't it?
almost it's more like an annoyance than it. I know it's kind of it maybe gives some flavor, but it's an expense of it might take longer time. So I'm also a little bit on the fence.
yeah, but
That rule.
Yeah.
that
Did it-
one falls under the universal special rules, and for the way 40k works right now, they have that, like they have twin linked where you re-roll wound rolls and stuff. It's a bit of a steep learning curve to be able to memorize them all, but once you have them and you're 2 players and you remind each other, it's not that bad.
Yeah. And we should mention that you need to roll a natural 6. Like, you can't
Yeah.
re-roll into it.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of weird that it doesn't play well with poison as well. If you get a poisoned natural 6 to wound, or to hit, then you get a poison attack. Then you can never trigger armor bane on that attack.
Yeah.
Because you
But-
don't roll to wound.
No,
on
no,
that.
no.
So,
But
Yeah, that's true.
there is some fixes to that in 40k as well. I don't know exactly what it is, but they fixed it somehow where it also triggered, even
But
though it
then-
was
then
an
it would be,
automatic
like,
wound
That
where,
would be
where
super
the,
nasty.
yeah.
where the armor bane value spilled over into it counts as a 6 to wound.
Okay.
It gives
Yeah.
some flavor, but I think it's more of a hassle than it's worth.
Yeah.
And
But it's an easy fix.
it's
It just counts as a 6 to wound.
we see what happens when we
Yeah.
play the game.
Yeah.
If it takes 4 hours, maybe we house rule or something.
It might be.
But
We
it's,
just play
it,
8th
it's
edition.
just generally, it's been like a constant drip of information since they started. So it's been so many changes. And another big change is that the lores is gone. Our 8 lores is gone and is now changed to battle magic, dark magic, demonology, elementalism, high magic, illusion, necromancy, and Vag. Mons, do you feel like you're gonna miss the old lores, or is this something positive? New magic?
Think about the comet.
Yeah, think about the comment. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Like, I think that Magic needed a change, but I also did like the original Magic lores. And as I understand it, these Magic lores will be in the main rule book, as I read it. And I feel like the battle magic of Wa will probably only be able to be used by the orcs and goblins. So I'm not really sure why that's in a main rule book. But I don't really have that strong of an opinion. Like, I think that Magic needed a change, and for that to happen, the spells also needed to change. So
Yeah.
Why not?
They were a bit too powerful and swingy in 8th edition, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I think so too. So I think changes to magic is good in my opinion, and this is like controversial subject, I guess, but I'm all for changes to magic.
I like Dungeons and Dragons and like paper and pen role-playing games,
Yeah.
and being able to have a magic that's called elementalism just makes me a little bit warm inside. So I'm looking forward what elementalism is for something. And on magic, we can keep the name because we have a miscast table even in the old world. And
That was the best news.
the best
Yeah.
news. And I also want to touch on the thing that's I feel is the biggest change. We will not have any wizards thrown into the warp.
Yeah.
Jonas, happy or sad? No wizard into the warp.
I think it's a negative change to the game yet again. I'm fairly positive about the old world, but this part I think is gonna make it so that you have fewer memorable moments in the game. I think that it might not be fun when your wizard is thrown into warp, but you're gonna remember it.
Yep.
And I think that magic being all chaotic makes for memorable games, and therefore I kind of like there being some like rare results that do impact the game in a significant way.
By the way, I didn't think that you would say that. I
Okay.
think I would have guessed that you were happy.
I'm actually also for it, which might also be a bit unexpected. Or like I'm on the same page as Jonas,
Ah,
because
No warp.
I like that they had the warp. I like that they had the warp because, and I also like the fact that they had a pool of magic dice, and now it seems like you only throw 2, and that's because like that made it such a big decision. Do I throw 4 dice? Do I dare to throw 5? Can I throw 6? Take that risk, and there's potential of really big punishment, and that makes the decision for magic dice really hard. If they have it this way, you just throw 2 dice. You never have to be really. You have to be afraid, but it's not like a
Game
way.
deciding.
You don't have to weigh the options in the same way. You just cast your spells.
It's a much simpler way
It
of
is.
handling magic.
Yeah.
One cast 2 dice, and then the other one will cast 2 dice.
Yeah.
He who casts the highest, who is gonna win? Martin, is the missing of Winds of Magic something that makes you? Are you gonna miss it? Wins.
I'm gonna miss wins. I do. I really think that it was such a strategic phase where you had to count your dice and think about what spells does he have enough dice left for. You had to like trick. It was sort of a chess game in the magic phase alone, where you tried to trick out. I want this spell. Should I trick out all his dispel dice first and chance it on 4? It was such a strategic phase. And I'm gonna miss that for sure. I felt like, again, WAP did it perfectly.
Perfect.
It-
Vap had
It was the perfect magic phase.
No.
perfect is hard to say, but it was
It's a
better
really
than
good-
8th
yeah.
edition.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
but
better.
Yeah,
But I think I don't think WAP was perfect, far from it. But I think they should have kept the generation thing, like the
pool.
Winds of Magic. In the start of the turn, you should have generated dice that you kept throughout all the phases. They could have kept that step, and then you can think, oh, in the movement phase, I need this spell. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
cast this in this phase, so maybe he will waste his magic die and I can get this spell off. So they could have kept the Winds of Magic,
we still don't
but still
know
made
that.
the other changes.
We
I
actually
feel it's
still
gonna
don't
be
know
boring
that.
as now,
Yeah.
because it's gonna be. I as a caster will try to cast everything I can, and he who is a dispellee will try to dispel everything he can. It's not like you have to think so much about it, and that's something that you're gonna miss.
Yeah, but there is one upside to this, and you mentioned it previously on another topic, like the combat. This is gonna speed up one of the phases tremendously.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
it's gonna.
Well, you think so? Yeah, maybe.
I think
maybe.
like
It's
I've
gonna.
been
You,
in-
you don't have to think about it. It's just go,
Yeah.
magic, go, go,
Yeah,
go. It's
I
gonna be
can
like a
cast
shooting
this spell.
phase.
Which unit cast?
Yeah, it's true.
There is one more aspect of the 2 dice system. It's that games can be more balanced in whatever points value you play.
Yeah,
Like if you're playing low points value and you allocate a lot of points into a wizard, I mean, if you apply high points value, and you still only generate 4 dice, that's a bit of a waste on magic phase. I feel like you could step it up, but this way it scales better.
No,
You don't think so?
an army that has a low point cost wizard. If you have an army that can take a level 4 wizard, it's gonna be very powerful against a more expensive army that couldn't access that level 4, because a level 4 wizard in this game is gonna be very strong.
Yeah, but still it scales better than it does in 8th edition.
Maybe up, not down.
Yeah.
So it scales up better, but it's harder to play a small game, especially if I play an army that have an expensive wizard against an army that have a cheap wizard, he's gonna control magic.
I would say the points difference between armies in wizard isn't that great that you can't fit it.
I just think that the argument that if one side has a higher level wizard, that wizard is gonna get off every spell, dispel all of the spells for the opponents far more frequently than we see in 8th edition. Because if wizard level adds to the dispel and casting result, only rolling 2 dice, just having +2 is immensely powerful. We just discussed like the hero titan. This is exactly like that.
And the
but
level
on
4
steroids.
is still the level 4 wizard is up in the lord slot and competing against. So an expensive army. Well, you might have to choose level 4 wizard or a lord.
But it feels like not having a level 4 wizard with this system, as Jonas says, might just be dumb.
Yeah.
Like because you will let every spell go through if you have a level 2 and they have level 4.
It might be, but the spells are also a bit toned down.
Yeah.
So it might not be worth. I mean, if you're playing 1,000 points and you bring a level 4 for 250, that's your lord slot.
Yeah.
It's gone. And the spells might not be that strong. You might have more use out of 250 points of models.
Yeah, that is also correct. Like
That's
in AOS,
less
the
to
spells
see.
are not that broken, and the
No.
field that they tuned it down. I'm thinking about this from 8th edition Magic, which is absolutely broken.
Yeah.
But it might not
in
be
8
that
it's
Yeah.
horrible, but
Yeah.
the spells now could be like +1 leadership. I do 3 extra wounds or something. It's not it's not Occam's Mind Racer.
We don't know that yet.
We don't know that yet, but I would say it's
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
too
think
it's
it's
too
in
early
the
to
game.
tell.
Yeah.
Like we need to see more rules. I think.
To wrap it up, they have given out a number on universal special rules. They said that it's going to be like 75 special rules, and some of them are changed. They're changed. The Swift Stride rule is a little bit different, so it's going to be a lot of changes to the universal special rule. But I thought that the last question would be, how do we generally feel about large number of universal special rules?
I think like I'm not sure how many there are in 8th edition, but it's probably around there. It has to be like around that amount.
the weapons
Probably.
is there.
Because the opposite would be having a lot of rules in the army book.
Yeah.
So having like 10 rules on each army, or a lot of universal rules.
I think all of us kind of agree that complexity is kind of good for the game.
Yep.
And if you can collect as much as possible in the main rule book, that is good. Because it's always like when you play against an army, which army book you don't own, you don't know the rules that well.
No.
But if they're on the main rule book, you will have read the main rule book, and then you can know the rules. Like having the special army rules, they're fun, but this also makes it pretty hard to play against armies you're not familiar with as well. So I think collect as much as you can in the main rule book. I think do it.
Yeah.
It's
I agree.
It's like a positive thing for the game that we might have. It will be easier if you learn the main rule book. You will have a better chance playing against an opponent.
Yeah.
Definitely. You get the feeling if you can look at the roster and he says, I have Armor Bane too, these guys, and you know instantly. Like the function in 8 with weapons. If you say I have spears, you know. You know this function of the rule. So I would agree. Putting them in the main rule book is good for balancing and make for more understanding games, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
It's easier to keep a grasp on all of the rules.
Yeah.
I think.
it was more news than this between all the articles, but I picked some points that I think that we are involved in or we like to talk about.
Yeah.
So
We
that's the news segment. I say, did we have any?
I just want to
quest-
say
yeah,
one
one
thing
more.
before we go to questions.
Yes.
How many of you watched the podcast from D6 Wounds, where they talk about the London GT? And they also mentioned us a little bit there in the end.
Starstruck, are we?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, a bit.
We're famous. We're famous. No, but no, but the thing I want to mention is, I really want to go to the London GT, and I'm
Okay.
100% serious here. And me and Martin talked on the phone, and he is down.
I'm down.
Okay.
Like he wants to go. It is April 28th.
7 to 8, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Saturday,
It's the
Sunday.
weekend over there, and I even checked
Over
flights.
there, it's just it's 1 hour time
Even checked
difference.
flights. The flights are only $200 to and from if you go from Umeå, and I really want to go. Like
Okay,
you
okay.
guys gonna? Are you coming? Me and Martin is going.
I'm going.
Okay.
Like I'm
How-
90% sure that
Yeah.
How do you even bring an army over there?
buy one of those plastic.
Yeah.
Bags.
bag.
and-
Plastic bag and have it in the knee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just put it in a bag.
Yeah,
Are you-
I'm dead serious. I looked it up and I was like, I am available to go, and I really want to do it.
Yeah, me too. I'm available to go.
Are they gonna play the old world, new old world?
No,
No.
it's 8th edition.
8th
Eighth
edition.
edition.
Triple Crown.
Triple Crown.
Yeah.
And that's more. That's way more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have house rules for it as well. So they're Triple Crown with house rules.
Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't
actually-
read the whole,
I read
uh,
a bit of the rules document, but I think it seems good.
I would like to go.
Yeah.
I would like to go.
Yeah,
obviously.
Take
But,
on it.
but
super fun.
no. I do have a girlfriend, and I need to check with the house before I do any, because April is probably paint the house month.
But
No,
it's the
not
end of it.
April.
We're
It's
still
too
gonna have
early.
snow
Too
up
early?
here. Yeah, we're gonna still have snow.
I can put it out like this. It's very close to my 35th birthday,
Yeah.
Mm.
so I would like to invite you to my
Mm.
35th birthday party in London.
Clever, clever.
Now you have
wanna
to
go.
go.
I'm not going. I'm
No,
not, so
it's
I'm
not
not-
me-
I'm
does
not
that
mean you're
going
paying?
to- I'm
No.
not going to London to play Warhammer. I'm going there to celebrate Martin.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna
okay.
go
That's
hit
a
the
different thing.
museums,
Yeah.
and we're gonna work on our intellect.
Yeah. We're gonna see the Big Ben, London
Big Ben,
Eye.
yeah, for sure.
Meet
Uh,
new friends.
Absolutely, that's good news. We have to.
We have
at
to
least
check.
Yeah.
check. Can
Yeah.
we go?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Uh,
make an invite to a party.
Yeah, and
So-
I've actually already talked to a few other members of the Swedish community.
did?
I did. I reached out to some of the guys from
Okay.
Ten Island Gaming and some of the guys from Dalaslaget, and I'm gonna see if we can get some more Swedes to go.
Okay.
Oh,
Take
I
over-
can't
Challenging.
say any promises for them, but I'm really looking to go. And if everything else up with the schedule, I'm going.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
We
So
need to
now
check,
the
yeah.
ball
That's
is in
news.
your court, boys.
That's news. Miscast table.
Uh,
is
Goes
going-
international.
Yeah, that's good news.
We're gonna
Might
get
as
our
well.
asses beat in England.
just to sell the point, this can be cut out of the, the
No,
reel
it
if you
will
want
keep
to.
it in.
But to further sell
Yeah.
the point, we have a holiday coming up in Sweden. It's on the Wednesday. So if we go on the Friday, we look at all the museums, we hit Big Ben, we get smart, intellectual, do some fun stuff Saturday, Sunday, and then there is a possibility if we want to stay, and we go to Brighton, Warhammer World. Where is
Yeah.
it? Not.
Is it open
It's a
like
city,
all the time?
you know.
Yeah, Brighton.
the- no, Manchester, right?
No, it's in
might
a
be.
small town. It's in a small
Yeah,
town.
yeah, but you
Yeah.
should know the name. But we could go there.
Visiting Warhammer World.
Yeah,
Why
it's
not?
I'm planning on a big party
Oh.
for 4 people.
Yeah.
with all expenses
Yeah.
paid.
All expensive pay.
By who?
You're a rich man, aren't you?
It's running a bit dry. I feel-
Yeah, but I just wanted to talk about that and put it out there that me and Martin is potentially going, and we want you to come as well.
It would be.
I need to look at tickets then. Because,
That's good news.
There,
That's news.
So
The
go
bad
home,
news-
speak to the wives and the girlfriends.
Need to do some speaking.
the bad news is
Martin has a birthday
as
coming
of
up.
today, there are 10 tickets left for the tournament itself.
Oh,
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
Ooh,
40 spots.
Then we probably need to book our tickets before this goes out.
We should probably
Because
do that.
as soon as we announce we're going, everyone is want to go.
Of course,
Everyone
of course.
is.
probably.
and the cost goes up with the bodyguards, so
Yeah.
we have to keep up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all I wanted to say before we go into a question segment.
Yeah, did we have any questions?
Yeah, we do. And I kind of liked the interaction from the last video. I thought it was a good episode, finally getting into the hang of it. And we got one mention from a dear friend of the channel, Niklas out there, asking us if we have any ideas for what we would like out of a non-tournament event. What is the ideal non-tournament event that we would be willing to go to or wish that there would be more of? Martin, do you have any ideas?
We have the best idea, me and Martin. We talked about. Yeah. You can
Yeah,
see.
yeah. I'm just gonna rattle the memory, but we were talking about me and Mons. I don't know what situation we were in, but a tournament where there is a game. What are they called in Dungeons and Dragons? Game master,
A dungeon master.
dungeon master. Like someone, if you have 6 tables and wind them up, and then the game master can just say in round 3 or as the game progresses, he can reveal special events that is happening on the tables as you play. The same event on all the tables. You can divide it up in quarters, and a comet hits. Everything in this unit is on flames or something, like a dynamic game.
Yeah. Maybe like a storm that starts on this table and then it moves clockwise and like things that happen, like a game master that decides things that happens, and the tables are a bit connected, like things happens between the tables, and just play for fun with like a lot of fun events and happenings.
Like a thing, if a wizard gets sucked into a warp, the warp ends somewhere. That wizard could probably end on another table.
It can pop up somewhere else.
Like those kind of stuff. If you have a really good dungeon master that narrates the game as they progresses, that would be super fun.
Yeah.
Super
I
fun.
would
That sounds
definitely
like
go.
potentially super chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just for fun, and
Okay.
it would create memories. If you're not playing for the points in a tournament, you want to create memories, and the best way is to make it chaotic. Something you're not expecting.
I think I'm.
The game master just kicks
no.
over the table, breaks your model.
You're done. You go home.
I think I'm on the same page as you, but I also think that I have a. I understand what you're saying, but I think it's like a campaign set for 6th edition Albion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like a campaign that's called Albion that you play Warhammer in real time. So you have matches playing in real time, and it's the Albion rule set makes things happen, like storms and magic and such.
No, something like that. Yeah.
That's the rule set I would like to try. And they have the podcast Old World Lives. They have a couple of episodes where they one of them is hosting a tournament like that, and then they talk about it. So I would like to try that rule set, but in 8th edition setting. It sounds super interesting, playing Warhammer real time, like a tournament in real time.
Oh, yeah, sounds fun. And there were lots of that stuff previously, like Mighty Empires that we did try out and stuff like that. But we also got a question from JMC Bride asking us, which type of camera do we use? And I think that, Mons, you are an expert because you recommended which cameras we bought.
I'm with the camera expert. We have 2 Canon EOS M50 Mark II, and we have 1 Canon M50, like the regular model. And then we also have a webcam, a Insta360. that we use, a pretty new camera that we got.
Yeah, that one
And-
is super cool.
Yeah, and this is the one we filmed in on is the Mark II, and we also use a few Logitech webcams, 180p, like regular office webcams.
C900 something.
Yeah, we use that for like dice trays and stuff like that. So we have quite a lot of cameras, but the ones we mainly use are the Mark IIs.
Yeah. Then we got a question by mail, and I kind of want to direct this one to Andre, because you might have some insight. You have been like the one person that have been playing the longest. Per asks, can we do a video about a system called SOVL? It's apparently a like top-down playstyle. It has like simpler rules. He compared it to one-page rules, and it's still like really strategic. Apparently there is this game on Steam as well where you can try it out. Do we have any information about it, and are we willing to make a video about it?
Well, yeah, I haven't checked out. I saw that comment, and I thought I'm gonna check out what that is. But I haven't checked out what SOVL is. But I'm definitely. I was looking before this because I understand it's kind of a way that you can play remote against another player, and before I checked out that tabletop simulator.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I tried to get tabletop simulator working, but oh my god.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of setup.
I think I'm good at computers, but oh my god, tabletop simulator had screwed me over. So I'm definitely looking into some other system that would make it possible for me to play a match against someone over the internet. So if SOVL could do that, definitely.
Yeah.
I looked at the game on Steam. I thought it looked really fun. I didn't download it or buy it. I can't remember if it was free or not, but it's been so much at work, so I haven't had the time. But I'm definitely going to check it out, and I think many of you might do so as well. So if we find it fun and we think it's interesting, definitely we can do something about it.
I actually downloaded it this week and tried. But I got caught up in editing with Jonas. But it looks like they have. I just got into the login, and you can play a campaign, and you can play skirmish battles, and you build your army, and you put out the units. So it looks like very much like a top-down view of a table.
Like a
But
strategy.
I haven't
map,
gotten further, but I will check it out and try it out and see if we have a functions. And I don't know if it's more fun to throw everyone in and see what we get, or just build up a base knowledge.
I think we have to try it a little bit before we do any streams or videos.
So we do some practice games, and then we try to get a live stream of it.
Yeah, maybe if it's it also has to be good for viewing.
Yeah.
Like it can be fun to play, but not all things are good for viewing. So that's something we also have to check. But we're definitely gonna check it out, and we have to thank all the people for the nice recommendations of channels as well.
Yeah,
Great recommendations.
Yeah.
It was.
Both for lore and other like battle reports and so much stuff. I have a lot of stuff for my painting list now. So
Do we want to mention a couple of the tips we got?
Yeah.
So we had the lore channel that we got as a tip was the Book of Scheuer.
That one is really good. Like his voice is like really worth listening
And
to.
he was called the Warhammer. Sorry, he who made the comment. Sorry, I forgot what it is. We can put it. In the comments. And then we had battle reports tips was D6 wounds, once bitten and once bitten 360, and it was Dr. Blacksil who tipped us on that. Liban Miniatures and Device and Dice was N. Ljungberg.
Yeah.
Who,
both those channels are great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who put those out. And then we had a Spanish channel recommendation. Murvadre Wargames. And it was Murvadre Wargames who also tipped about them.
Yeah. No, they didn't tip about them specifically. They said, "What about
Spanish.
what about the channels in other languages?" And actually,
like ours,
Yeah.
like ours. And I think it's so funny that they mentioned those, they semi-mentioned themselves. So of course they're gonna be mentioned.
yeah. And I also listened or watched one of their battle reports, but and they're good. They're very very well filmed and everything. But it's just that my high school Spanish is not enough to be able to follow
I can
what happens.
make bad words.
Yeah,
But they are good, so I can definitely.
And there are actually some really good Spanish channels that make good graphics. Like I kind of started watching just because, like the comment, like triggered me or like wanted, like it intrigued me. Is probably a better word.
Triggered me. That's a strong word.
Lastly, we have Oct237. He wanted to say Miscast Table, Tanadian Gaming, Dice Hammer, and Triple Crown Miniatures.
Yeah.
That's
Solid.
some more content. If you want more content, we have
Yeah.
some tips from the channel viewers.
Yeah, but with that, I think that we have gone through everything. So if any one of you out there want to reach out to us, please hit us up in the comments or just send us a friendly mail and we'll reach back in a future podcast episode.
Yeah, and I might invite you to our party.
In London.
London.
See you. Bye.
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 Bye.